I'm just going to speak
No.
through this lighthouse.
Why?
I don't know. I found a lighthouse, so why not? It's relevant.
Why? Why do you have a lighthouse?
I I do not have a lighthouse. It's not mine.
That raises more questions.
It's a lighthouse lamp.
The point still stands. Maybe before I get depressed.
Yeah, this film's kind of perfect for lockdowns. Bunch of
It is.
people isolated on an island without any human contact for weeks on end.
There you go. No, I think didn't it take place over like a few months?
Over a few months. So yeah, it's basically a
There you go.
And this film
Uh,
only came out a few months before the whole pandemic started. So you know what? I think they were onto
get the
something. That's a real
conspiracy.
conspiracy theory.
There you go.
Yeah, we've figured
This,
it out through this film.
yeah, there we go, guys. There we go. We've done it. We've cracked the code.
Yeah. Um, but in seriousness, this film is a great movie. I really enjoyed it.
I'd go as far as to say like it's even though look, I'll be honest with you, it's not my cup of tea, but I still really fucking loved it, and I would go as far as to say that it's pretty close to perfection.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, the film is gorgeously shot. It really is a psychological thriller that shows the descent into madness over the course of a few
Mm.
months with these two lighthouse keepers, and it's fantastically performed.
Let's actually we should probably give a bit of context as to what the lighthouse actually is. So the lighthouse is I guess it's technically a horror film, even though it's like not super. I mean, it has some
Me,
moments.
I'd say it's more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah, to be fair, there's no real one genre you can sort of say, but it's a film that exists and it stars um, Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. So it has the Green Goblin and Batman as the
Mm,
two, really the only two characters in the film. There's technically four characters
yeah.
in the or 4 or 5 characters, like four like actors in the whole film,
Mm.
and but it's really just these two. Everyone else in it comes in for like a line or two sort of thing, and but it's really about these two.
They're there
Um,
for a moment or two. They're not really central
yeah,
anymore. It's about these two characters.
so Mr. Twilight Man and Evil Cackle Guy, they're lighthouse keepers, and basically, and they're not really 100% right in the head to begin with, but it's really a story about both of them sort of losing not only that like it's like losing each other, like losing their minds, and it's a lot of there's a lot of weird like symbolism in it, and I love the fact that there's just so many different interpretations of what what the ending means or what the whole story is about, and it actually reminds me a lot of I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Stanislavski, is that he was
Oh,
a very much it's very like he was an old timey theatrical pioneer, and his sort of like in his directing sort of style, and like his goal in theater was to sort of make the
mm.
the audience sort of almost feel alienated, or kind of really get them thinking about what the production was about after the fact.
One of his
And
shows also very character driven.
yes,
Yeah, which again, this film really is as well.
I wouldn't say it is. I mean, yes and no. I don't think it is as like character kind of driven as I guess if we're going to use a really conventional example like the MCU, where
Oh, it's not.
even then it's
It's not your traditional character driven story. It's
yeah.
all the
I think that's the right way to put it.
minds
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
that's the right way to put it.
characters. That's what drives
Yes,
the story. It's a really chilling film from beginning to end. It starts with them. They're pretty much on the island the whole time, except for like the beginning stage where they're getting onto it. But
yeah, but that's like the first like few shots, and
yeah,
that like in the grand scheme of things doesn't count. They're literally just on this island, and it's just really about these two people lo- just losing their minds. And even if you don't like, because like the thing is, this is very open-ended, like the ending, well, we won't spoil it, because it's really something you need to watch. And like I'm just gonna say now, watch this. Because even if you don't really enjoy movies that are really sort of like open-ended with their endings, or have a lot of things that are up to interpretation, like this one does all that brilliantly. But even
Mm.
if you don't like that, it's just so beautifully like shot. Like you could just, there's so much love in it in this
Oh yeah,
film.
no, this film is breathtakingly in how it's been shot and all the cinematography. It kind of makes you feel like you are in the late 19th century, early 1900s, or the way
Yeah,
it's shot. It
I
really
think it was,
feels
I
like,
think it's meant to be I think it's meant to be 1890 or something like that.
yeah, it really feels like you're in that era. And
Yeah.
to any film that manages to like, there's a lot of films that are set in the past, but a lot of the time they're against a Hollywood backdrop. But this one feels
Hmm.
like it actually transports you right into the middle of an actual time period with the way it seems like
It's,
it's shot.
yeah, it's so authentic and genuine.
Hmm.
Like, I'm actually lost words. I watched this like a few nights ago, and I feel like I need to watch it again. Um, because it even, to be honest, I don't even know what to make of. I don't even have I want to avoid watching like an explanation kind of video. I nearly did it. I ended up searching up on YouTube like, oh, the Lighthouse explained, because I was thinking it might maybe help with maybe this review, but I'm thinking no, that kind of defeats the purpose of the film
No,
to
you
do
kind of
that.
want to make your own interpretation, not listen to others.
Yeah. So I was this close. I searched it up, but I didn't actually start a video. I'm like, no, this is
Resisting the
this
urge.
needs to be, this needs to be me. Even the way that, I feel like the way that Robert Pattinson and the way that Willem Dafoe, like these are like some of their best performances, period. Um, like they really, really give it their all. And it's sometimes kind of funny. It's sometimes really like disturbing as well, like
Mm.
the things that they're doing. It's but it like I'm actually lost for words. Like I just don't know what to say about this, because I don't want to really go into too much without getting to spoilers, because it, with a movie like this, if we sort of really say the whole, we've already kind of spoiled it just by the fact that we said, oh, it's about these two people on an island going mad. Um,
And that's as vague of an approach to this film you can really give.
yeah,
Hmm.
like that, like that's it, and that's all we can really say.
Yeah.
There's um, other than the fact that like the actors give it their role, like they, sorry, I just put my phone in front of the camera. Everything from the cinematography to, I think even like the effects, like they're not, like a lot of them are very, very practical with like kind of the CG doesn't it. I think there's like a very, very little bit of it, but it still feels both authentic to the time, but also works so seamlessly um with the rest of the film, and it still looks good.
Hmm.
Um, the sound design, I think, was also incredible.
Oh yeah, like it has that loud blaring sound that goes
Yeah,
constantly. It kind of
the
sounds like
constant
an
like,
old ship's horn,
yeah,
but so kind of gives a naturalistic
I
approach to it, but at
yeah,
the same time, it's not unnatural. It has that unnatural type
yeah.
vibe.
There's so much. I think just there's so much tension. And there's, I
Hmm.
guess the right word I use here is dread.
Hmm.
The sound design and the music just brings forth all that in fear, and it, again, even if you're not someone that really likes films that are open to interpretation, and you just sort of want something that's very clear, there's, even if there's plot twists, it's very well explained. Even if it's not the kind of film that you would necessarily like, because I didn't think I would either. Um, you still love and appreciate this movie, even with that, just because it's about these two people. And sometimes um, what some lesser filmmakers would maybe do, or some people that maybe aren't as experienced or need to learn more, is if they want to show someone going crazy and they want to have certain images, they'll just sort of throw them up on the screen and there's like very little
They'll often have
symbolism or kind of cheesy or whatever else. But with
they'll have a
this,
violent outburst to express it.
yeah,
But this one doesn't. It relies
I mean,
so
like I think it does a bit, but it works a lot better the way that what they use, like it just works better in it.
It still feels like it's mainly driven by the mind. You feel the mental dread of the character, which again, going back to what you said about dread, you feel the mental dread of these characters as the story goes along.
Yeah, they just keep going. It just keeps on getting like more and more intense. That's really all I can say, and that's really, I think, all
should be said. Yeah.
Anyway.
All I could really add to that is this is a much different movie to most films out there. It's really unique in its style and its atmosphere.
I will say, but it's also not super art housey to the point that it comes off as pretentious.
No, it's not pretentious. It's got the good mix between the two. Between being smart without being overly pretentious. I know better than you.
Yeah. It feels like just very real. Like this, it's very much just sticking in its own lane, doing its own thing. And I love it and like really appreciate it. So I'm going to watch it again. And that's, I think, the highest. I think if you watch a movie, and so going back to Stanislavski's sort of like the way he thinks about his own theater productions back in the day, if the audience doesn't leave like still thinking about the production or whatever else, they just think, oh, it's a good time and move on and forget about it, then you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard to give a score. Look, on a technical level, if I had to give it something, I'd probably give it like a 10 out of 10. And I honestly prefer this over The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Fair enough. I would probably give this about an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed, but I feel like you loved this film.
I really, really loved it. And again, it's managed to just transcend everything that I've sort of. It's definitely not like a Hollywood film, and I like it that it's just. I like the fact that it's very different and it's very
original.
It's original and it's focused, and it's very like open and weird and very, again, like character driven sort of like it's that kind of thing, and that's the stuff that I really like out of film. I'll say like that's even though I'm not a huge fan of horror, even like this is like there has some funny moments in this film as well. Like it's not just pure horror. And it's kind of, even like you say, it's more of a psychological kind of thriller. It's definitely all that, but it's just, it really transcends a lot of genres. I will like it doesn't, you can't put it into a box.
I guess I'm not saying exactly like this, but it kind of reminds me of The Shining now that I'm thinking of it, because that film slowly shows someone in isolation, just him and his family in this house over winter, and he slowly loses his mind. That's probably the closest comparison I can think of, and I'd still say those films are very different.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's really all from me, guys. Just honestly, watch it.
Yeah.